I don't know about you, but as you might be able to guess, I've always been a sucker for any suggestion of the supernatural or extraordinary. As a kid, I pored over Guinness World Record books until they fell apart at the spines, and I'd watch the ghost adventures like an addict. Believing every minute of it, it's really interesting to think about what could possibly exist at the edge of our understanding, even if it means watching hours of Zach Bargains grasping at straws with a blinking music box. It's the satisfaction of it that led me to discovery that it will be sharing here shortly. For context these days, I'm studying film editing at a community college. It can be grueling sometimes, but I really enjoy it nevertheless. Last spring, I did an assignment to take some raw TV footage and cut it down into a smooth 15-minute runtime. All the footage comes from donations, so a lot of this stuff is old, mostly consisting of sitcom outtakes and the like. For my project, I started digging through a big bin of VHS tapes. They take some time to transfer to MP4s, largely thanks to the school's old tape player always breaking down. But I wanted to find something unique. After picking through the duds for about a half an hour, I saw a tape near the bottom that caught my eye. It was labeled as an episode of Eighth World Wonders with Rocco Presley. If you haven't heard of it, it was basically Ripley's Believe It or Not in the format of traveling talk show. Despite its age, it's one of my favorite shows growing up. I used to know every episode by heart, which isn't so impressive since it only had one full season. But the point still stands. I instantly dug out the thing and looked it over. The backside was scribbled with the phrase "future tech," which didn't bring anything to mind from what I could remember. I tried to temper my expectations, but I was thrilled with the prospect of seeing some long-lost footage from the unfinished Season 2, with the abrupt and gruesome end of the production. This was almost a sort of closure for me, and I'll get into all that later. But I'm working on a chronological order here. After getting the tape running on my laptop, the window flicked to life with the light hanging from the lamp. The camera adjusted to its dim surroundings, revealing the scene of basement filled with blinking servers, all surrounding a small CRT monitor. A small production crew was maneuvering in and out of frame around the cramped space, and Rocco Parsley stood at the center fixing his tie. Within a few seconds, a clapperboard came on the screen and counting down from 3 before prompting to Rocco to begin. I realized that this was, indeed, an unreleased segment from then on, and I was glued to the screen. Sure, I was supposed to be getting right out to work, but you can't blame me for getting distracted with something like this. Given a nearly an hour-long runtime, I can recall the whole thing word for word, but I'm pretty sure I've gotten the opening for the monologue right. Here we are at the center of it all, this unassuming basement room of Carlsbad, California, where Calvin Renner turned his wires and switches into a groundbreaking artificial intelligence capable of feats previously believed, though, to be mere science fiction, or so he claims. Let's come in for a hands-on test and see what our PC technology experts think. Will he crack the hoax, or will he confirm the innovation of virtually unmatched proportions? Rocco walked back and took a seat at the monitor between the two middle-aged men, one of them portly with a wrinkled dress shirt and thin glasses, and the other one in a brown suit holding a gaunt face. I assumed that the other cameras were just there to catch different angles, but Rocco covered the monitor from that view. The rounder one appeared to be guiding them on how to use the interface before he turned to face the other man and spoke again with his usual grin. "So, Professor Adams, what do you suggest we ask first?" They went on about asking it a series of random questions, taking a jovial tone with it. The computer performed arithmetic, described the operations of household appliances, and even held a simple conversation with Rocco about a recent baseball game. It incorrectly said that Mariners scored 12 points instead of 8, but it was impressive nonetheless. The whole time Adams was talking with Calvin about this construction and programming, which had a few awkward pauses that can be expected from a pair of stereotypical tech nerds. The whole thing felt like a proper tech demo, except tech was way ahead of its time. In the moment I wonder why this didn't reach any markets in the 90s, but I found out soon after. It was about halfway through the tape when things got weird. They were just sitting there talking when the computer began to emit a methodical beep, not like a bomb or anything. It sounded more like a dial tone. The conversation died down and everyone looked at the monitor. Rocco was the first to speak up. "So what's this noise mean?" For the first time, Calvin had no intermediate answer. He just looked around the machinery before stuttering. I don't know. It just does that sometimes." Rocco let out a bit of a chuckle. "Well, you're the one that built it, right? Or did it just strike out a chord with our mutual friend here?" Calvin, however, looked dead serious. "It's not supposed to have audio outputs." Adams was already peering around the servers. "Probably a system error. It's muggy down here. Maybe something's been overheating." Rocco started to get up, but then the screen caught his attention. With him out of the way, the screen could be seen clearly. Instead of questions and answers, it was displaying a grainy black and white picture. I couldn't really tell what it was, almost like one of those AI photos where you can't identify anything. It looked like some kind of animal between the flickering from the camera. I swear I saw it move. Rocco caught a glance of it all, and that was where the showmanship started to fall away. He paused for a moment, then said, "What is that?" He turned to Calvin, but Calvin had no words. The only sound was even toned in the background. He repeated, "Calvin, what is that?" He just stuttered under his breath, staring blankly at the monitor. At the scene kicked up a bit with lights on all the servers, blinking rapidly, and Adams trying to use the keyboard to no avail. My attention was fixed on him until the monitor suddenly sparked and the screen blasted into pieces, sending Adams stumbling backwards, clutching his face. The whole setup powered off and everyone jumped, including me. The shock lasted only for a minute, but it was replaced with a sickening horror when the contents spilled out. Instead of wires and circuit boards, the only thing that poured out of the screen was a thick, blackish-brown liquid. The beeping had already stopped, and the room sat in dead silence as everyone watched the oil-like liquid spill out onto the floor. As Miss Adams started receiving medical attention for cuts on his face and neck, Calvin tried to give an explanation, but Rocco cut him off. "Are you trying to pull something on us?" The whole room tensed up a bit. I'd never seen Rocco Presley do such much as raise an eyebrow before, so this was unreal. Calvin had already collapsed into a panic. "I didn't know it would do that," Rocco immediately fired back. "What? Aren't you supposed to be the expert?" Calvin was practically cowering in his chair, trying to calm him down to no effect. "Did you even make it, huh?" Rocco berated him as he squeaked out the phrase, "I don't know where it came from." At that point, some of the crew tried to intervene, but there was no stopping Rocco. He just kept shouting, "You're sick, Calvin." I don't know if that's what it was like. He was like that off camera, but everyone seemed to be taken off guard. Calvin got off his chair and tried to back away, but Rocco stood up and turned. Someone from the medical team tried to hold him back, but he shrugged them off and shoved Calvin out of the way. He must have slipped on this stuff from the computer, because he flew backwards and slammed his neck against the edge of the desk. Rocco was pacing around the room, yelling at him to get up, but Calvin was just laying there. Rocco started to cool down and shook him from the shoulder, but he didn't move. I clearly remember the room going dead quiet again. Rocco's face went from bright red to pale white in an instant. People rushed from Adams to check in on Calvin while Rocco collapsed to the seat, looking into his soul, and he left his body, as if the concern for Calvin didn't shock him. The concern for his career certainly did. With the set in tatters and calls to cut to be made, the footage froze up and flickered into static. Somehow I only saw and noticed the smoke pouring out of the tape player. I scrambled to turn the thing off, but it was way too late. This is the part I'm still beating myself up about. I should have kept an eye on the tape player, but I didn't, and now I have turned the potential crime evidence into a melted brick of plastic. I even had to explain to myself to the fire department since the smoke detector went off. It's not like I could tell them about what I saw, much less go to the police, so now you're the ones that have to listen to me ramble all about this. This incident sparked my curiosity more than anything else has, so I started digging. All reports suggested the tape was recorded back in August 22nd, 1991, the main shoot for the segment. Calvin Renner was hospitalized with a broken back, causing almost full paralysis, and the filming quietly went on pause. It was only the next day when people started disappearing. Cameraman, editors, everyone on the set that day. They all left without a word and never came back. The missing persons count got higher with every headline I read. The families apparently begged the police to investigate the Renner household, but they didn't have anything on him, especially considering that he wasn't there at the time. Besides, none of the neighbors were reporting any disturbances. By August 28th, there was no one left. The same day the so-called Carlsbad bloodbath hit the press, all of this came to a close. Whatever happened between those 2 points is the cause of much speculation, as well as the focus of my search. Among with the news coverage, interviews, and tabloids, one clear narrative emerged: these people weren't quite there before they went missing. Everything I found before definitely felt off, but this is the part where it really gets weird. I'll start with the interview with the family on one of the mic operators. They said that after the shoot, she became gradually more reclusive, eventually only leaving to her study to eat once a day. Whenever she asked about it, she just said that she was having problems with her work. She seemed sick, breathing heavily, and breaking into coughing fits. When she started talking about how she forgot something at the set, first in passing, and then a matter of urgency, it was days after the shoot when she went missing. Later on, the photos of the operator's personal sketchbook was released by her family. Here's the one drawing that caught my eye, shown below. As for Renner, most of the folks chalked it up as the mental conditions aggravated by his injury, but he became increasingly hysterical during his care, demanding to be released back to his house despite living alone and being paralyzed from the neck down. He was also noted to be having trouble breathing, which had no apparent connection to the injury. By the time the other shoe dropped, the big questions came to his door. He was completely unresponsive to anything outside his release. The cops couldn't even discuss a deal for it. He was, quote, mentally incapable of conversation. The big break only came about 20 years later when the police released a series of messages on his home phone, all coming personally from the Rocco Persley. I didn't think the site takes audio files, so I'll just paste the transcript. August 23rd, 1991, 10:52 p.m. Mr. Renner, this is Rocco. Rocco Persley. Now, I bet that I'm the last man that you want to talk to right now. But I'm calling to apologize for a little too late. But I get it, but listen. I don't know what came over me last week. I mean, I'm a public figure, so obviously there's issues there. If you got the tabloids, I mean, that's just me on the hook. That's the studio, the crew, everyone on the team. It's on me to patch this up and make sense if you don't want to hear it, but you need to know that this affects the whole lot of folks behind me. There are no words for how sorry I feel, and that's why I wanted to reach out personally. Not the suits back at the office. That wouldn't be fair to you. I just don't know what happened. I'm trying to work it out with the shrink. That's not something I do. It's not a representation of me. Listen, I'll just wrap it up here, but please call me when you can, and we can talk this out. August 25th, 1991, 9:17 a.m. It's Rocco again. I never heard back from you. I get it, man, I really do. But we've got to do something about this. I've got the station breathing down my neck, and I'm trying to sort all this out for the sake of everyone out of my team. I need an answer here. I haven't slept a solid minute since the shoot, honestly. Besides, the crew needs to be roll out of the computer. I know that's not the priority here. It's just that they're hounding me over it whenever I see them and whenever I tell them, hey, we got a bigger problem, so just work something out. But they tell me, if we don't get the footage, they'll have to cut the whole thing. I mean, wouldn't just do that being the cherry on top of this whole shit show. I am in your hands right now, and everyone else is too. Whatever it is, I need you to call me back. August 26, 1991, 1:13 a.m. Listen, this isn't news I want to bring up, but word is they're going to sue if you don't let us get more footage. I know you don't want to talk to me, but at this point you're on the line too. Your discovery isn't like anything I've ever found. I want the world to see it. Don't you want that too? Both our sakes, please just call me back. That's all it takes. We need to fix this, Calvin. August 27th, 1991, 6:42 p.m. Calvin, I can only hold the gates back for so long. Trying to give you space, but the studio's had enough. We need more footage with the computer, and you won't let us get the police. Is that what you want, Calvin? I don't know what to do here. You've put me in the corner, and now I've gotten the act. If you hear this, now is your last chance to pick up the phone before I have to send someone to your door. August 27th, 1991, 11:46 p.m. You know what? Fuck it. We're going to talk this out one-on-one, no press, no crew, just you and me, and this is all because of you, Calvin. It all started when I used your stupid fucking computer. I can't sleep, can't eat, I can't think of anything else outside of the basement. You did this to me. What happens next is on you. Remember that. August 28th, 1991, 12:53 a.m. You know I lied. I lied to you, Calvin. There's no studio, no crew, no suits at the office. To tell you the truth, I haven't talked to them since the shoot. I haven't talked to anyone. They kept calling and I just don't pick up. I guess we were the same like that, huh? What did you expect me to do? You don't talk to me? Don't leave me to rot in my own thoughts? Lay back while I sift through this hell that you put me in? And I'm not talking about the guilt or the stress. Oh, no. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You knew from the start when you called my goddamn office. Me, Adams, everyone on the set. You did this to all of us, and for what? What did you get out of this? You're sick, Calvin. You ruined us all. Just for whatever perverted satisfaction this gives you, you won't even let us see it. You spent all this time keeping yourself from relief you know we need, but not anymore. I'll tell you what. I can't give you what you deserve, but I'll sure as hell try. You're about to see what happens to the people like you. The police arrived at the house a few hours later, finding the scene that was later dubbed as the Carlsbad bloodbath. The name comes from the rumor that crammed basement held so much vice versa. The floor was completely submerged in a shallow pool of blood. And from the photos I've seen, I say it's credible, scattered amongst the servers and monitors that remained every person in the video, all mauled and disfigured, like they'd been eaten alive. I knew I shouldn't have looked at the pictures, but I couldn't resist the curiosity, and believe me when I say this, I regret it. Every photo is burned in my head, 12 innocent people, reduced in a mess of gore at the bottom of a basement. Among the bodies, Rocco was still alive, but he died on the way to the hospital. Given the autopsy photos, I'm shocked that he made it this far. Simply put, insides were outsides. Everything below the waist was practically gone, and it took a solid minute to figure out where his face was supposed to be. Besides that, police found a snub-nosed revolver within his prints, but it was left halfway down the stairs into the basement. There was, however, a bullet hole in the ceiling, implying that he wanted to make his presence known. In fact, going over my notes, I think it was the gunshot that caused the police to finally investigate the property. Forsenets found that they had all died at different times, with as such as a few days between some. Not just that, but bruising patterns that proved that the victims were all alive for several hours as they were being mutilated, and not a single no sign of struggle. It was all like they just laid down to die, taking a willing part of the whole ordeal. Editor's note: the autopsy revealed a viscous substance surrounding the brain and flowing down from it excess, coating the throat and lungs. Obviously, I had to find out more, so I started looking into the aftermath. Apparently, it took the local PD 3 days just to make an official statement, and they couldn't even provide a cause of death beyond the obvious physical trauma. Newspapers speculated about a possible cannibal serial killer on the loose, but there were never any similar deaths before or after to pick it up. Besides, anyone who saw the autopsy can tell you no human could have physically done that. If you think Calvin got away because he was stuck in the hospital, unfortunately, no such luck. He was the only person who died somewhere other than the basement, but he was not killed the same way. All torn up in his hospital bed, like a wild animal had crawled through his second-story window, matching notes with the brain and lungs, and nobody heard a thing. Whatever killed these people, it was silent, smart, and capable of tracking its targets down when it needed. As for the computer, it's like it never existed. When Renner's possessions went up for auction, there wasn't so much as a mouse or keyboard onto the list. Whatever it all went, there was no public record of it. Then that was the phrase, "I don't know where it came from." I can only assume he was referring to the monitor, since, unlike the traditional PC setups, it seemed to be the source of everything. Renner's previous accurations should have offered some clues as to how he got his hands on it, but that's the thing, he had no previous accreditations. All I found was the associate's degree on the computer science and the short-lived tech support job at Fry's. Our boy genius just came out of the blue, and instead of research institutes or newspapers, he reached out only talk shows, and it seems like his one priority was to get his work on camera. Honestly, nothing has fit quite right with this guy being from the end. I wish I had more to share, but there's nothing else I can find. This is where all of you come in. I'm passing all of you this as much information along to see if anyone knows about any possible connections. It doesn't matter how tangential it seems. All I need is some more. This case has been one on my mind for months now, and I refuse to believe the trail ends here. I won't stop looking, but for now I have to take a break and try to get some sleep. The best I can do beyond is that organize my findings to show to others. Thank you so much for reading. It's such a relief to finally share this with more people.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, stay pretty.